Good afternoon, everyone. It is I, the Majestic Ape, and I'm here with none other than the man, the myth, the legend, the Baron of Bitcoin, the Gandalf of Gold, the Sultan of Silver, the Pathfinder of the Road to Ruta, the man who wears his heart on his sleeve and spaghetti sauce stains on his tie, the one, the only, the man who brings the big guns that he should be sponsored by the NRA, Bix Weir. What's up, buddy?
You must have watched my latest video where I pulled out a couple guns.
No, I didn't see that one. When was this?
I posted it yesterday. It's a video of some final prepper suggestions and things like that.
Oh
And I
my
pulled
God, you
out.
have firearms in California?
I do. Oh,
Oh my
did you did,
God.
did you hear that the firearm sale has just dropped off the cliff
Yep,
and they're not selling anymore because Trump's in there and nobody's panicking to get their gun?
exactly.
Just
Yep.
crazy.
It's absolutely hilarious. I think Remington had layoffs, man. I think they fired like 3,000 employees over at Remington.
Yeah, I've said all along, all these false flags and the I'm going to take away your gun, mantra from the Democrats. It was all a plan to get the people of the United States armed.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I agree with
Yeah,
you. I agree
and
with you.
it worked. I mean, there's more guns than there are people in the United States. So yeah, no one can ever invade us. No government can take us over ever. That's why we have the guns. It's not about hunting and
It's not about
fishing.
sports.
Fishing with a gun. It's not about sports. It's all about protecting us from our government and from other governments.
Well, when they said the right to bear arms, I was literally thinking, bear as in the animal, bear arms. That you'd
Oh,
have the right to.
I was picturing you naked with a gun.
Oh, that's pretty vivid, man.
There you
That's
go.
pretty
Bare arms,
bare
baby.
arms. Wow, yeah, it's my bare arms. Is when I shave my arms and they're bare. That's what it is.
I am still coming off the high of our Clif High interview last week. That
I,
was so
I'm
much
still
fun.
coming off the low of deadlifting snow all day
Oh
yesterday,
yeah.
but I'm also getting off the high of that interview. That interview was epic.
It is so fun to talk to him. I had literally had a list of 100 more questions that I didn't get to. Some of the crazier ones were like with the night vision goggles. Sometimes I can see dozens of things flying around up in the sky in the
Yeah.
middle of the night with those night vision goggles. And there's a lot of activity, but most nights it's barely anything. Once in a while you'll see a dot fly across the sky and do odd things. But some nights it's just pure activity. I'm like, well, what goes on really is not daily traffic, obviously, above our planet, but there's times when there's just massive amounts of activity. I remember sitting in the backyard with my youngest son, and he wasn't a believer. Of course, nobody is until they see it themselves. And it was a really active night, and he's going, "Oh my God, look! There's a squadron over there flying around!" And we saw dozens and dozens of things flying around in the sky that night. So he's a believer now,
I'm a
but
believer
most nights
myself.
you go out there, you don't see much.
It's interesting, man. Have you noticed that you see most of them like right before it rains
No,
or right after it rains? You see
I
a lot of
haven't.
activity.
No.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the light pollution because I live in Oakland and you get San Francisco, you got lights everywhere. So I got to find a dark little area to get good viewing. But I can just imagine when I go up to my dad's ranch, he's in the middle of nowhere and you could see just a zillion stars. It's really cool.
Oh wow, that's
But
awesome.
I also wanted to talk to Cliff about uh, the Bitcoin scaling controversy. That
Oh yeah,
fight and
that
all that.
was a good question that we could have brought up.
Well, I asked him in a private conversation about it, and he says that his data shows that it's really no big deal. It's the least of the worries. This year. Now, right now, it's
Mm.
everybody's worried about. Are we going to use the Bitcoin Core guys or the Bitcoin Unlimited guys? And he says with the chaos between now and the end of the year, it kind of becomes a mute point because everything kind of falls apart
Yeah.
and Bitcoin, continues to trudge on. I don't think either is implemented, but I'm not sure if Bitcoin transactions will be going on during the collapse of the banking system because you do need, the miners mining, the power getting to the miners and things like that. So yeah, he didn't seem all that concerned about it. He says his data clearly shows Bitcoin being adopted by the masses. Mainly, it starts off in China, um, on a mass scale, and that's what 1.2 billion people using Bitcoin. If the government says, "Hey, after the banks crash, this is what we're going to use." So yeah, I wanted to get more out of him on that, and then Ethereum. Do you have
Yeah.
Ethereum at all?
Do I have Ethereum? No, I've never bought Ethereum.
Yeah, you can get it on. They added it to Coinbase now, so you can buy Ethereum. And Ethereum is really cool technology.
Yeah, it's a technology platform more than anything else.
Oh yeah, it's like mining Bitcoin tokens in your smart dishwasher, and so basically the dishwasher is running. It's got a mining program running inside the technology within it, and then it tells the technology can tell GE when to send parts that are running out and pay for it with the Ethereum tokens. That's the concept. And it's different than Bitcoin, but it's still a token or a coin with value. And I think it's really cool. It's separate. I don't think it will ever be used as like a currency like Bitcoin will be used. But it is value that will be traded back and forth, mainly from machine to machine type of thing. So it's really interesting. It's the only other crypto that I have bought. And it's gone from like $10 to $30 in the last couple of months. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, Monero's going hot as well, man. Like every single one of those cryptocurrencies that Clif has spoken about, Bitcoin, Monero, Ethereum, they've all been on a tear.
Yeah. And well, and they should be. I mean, Bitcoin obviously will solve a huge problem that we don't have at the moment. And that's how to perform transactions in what do we use as currency? When the banks fail, Bitcoin is an excellent solution to that huge problem. But the problem hasn't even come up yet. People are still fine with using the banks, even though they pay them zillions of dollars for the right for JP Morgan to transfer money to a bank in Italy. We have to pay JP Morgan, our blood, sweat, and tears to do that. Whereas with Bitcoin, you can just click, it's gone. It's there, almost costless, and it's easy. And right now, nobody sees a problem with dealing with the banks, but you're going to see a problem when the banks deal with you and take all your money when they implode.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Every single person's count by changing the regulatory laws. You're an unsecured lender. You are the last person to ever get paid, and you probably get paid anywhere between 0 to 99 years. You'll get an IOU, and that's about it. And the back, thanks for playing.
Yeah, Dodd-Frank actually changed the law for the FDIC to pay out. Before the FDIC pays out anybody for their checking or savings, they have to pay out all the derivatives first, which is insane. And at first I was all pissed off. I think, the banker's just trying to get the money, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it ensures that there will be no bailout. It ensures that Congress won't approve any bailout for the FDIC, for the banks, for anything. Because of that law. If that law wasn't there, they could try to kind of rejigger the system again and revalue the currency and everything they talk about doing. With that law in place that they have to pay out the bankers first, it guarantees that Congress will never approve a bailout.
Yeah, absolutely correct, man. Another thing. So, what did you think about the Wonder Twins and their ETF for Bitcoin? How that got denied.
Wonder Twins activate, baby.
Yeah, Wonder Twin power. Wonder Twins unite.
Yeah, the Winklevoss. Those guys. They don't really have an original thought, but they love to run with ideas and go wholehearted, which is
like Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that if you watch that movie, it's kind of like they get their people running around. Hey, this is a good idea. We'll be the money backing it, basically. So they're always kind of the money behind the scenes. They got money from their father, and they're doing a fine job out there with Bitcoin. The ETF that they tried to get the SEC to approve was ridiculous. I mean, Bitcoin's an unregulated form of currency, and they want to stick it on the stock market. The SEC would have been insane to allow that to happen with an unregulated type of thing.
Exactly.
And
Wild West.
And the way they structured it, it was just rife with the potential for manipulation. I mean, you've got an ETF controlled basically by the Winklevoss twins. They set the price every day. They are the ones who set the auction price of the ETF, and they're the custodian of the ETF. So talk about, conflicts of interest. They could have rigged the crap out of Bitcoin price. I'm so glad it didn't happen. Yes, trillions of dollars would have become available to the Bitcoin market, and the Bitcoin price would have skyrocketed in the beginning. But as we've seen with the silver ETF, it's just another tool they use to rig the market, because it's not Bitcoin that are traded. If this thing went into fruition, it would be shares that are traded, and all ETFs that trade on the stock market, they trade in shares. So silver doesn't trade on the SLV, it trades in shares. And then a small handful of authorized participants can take Bitcoin, or silver in that case, but in this case, it would have been Bitcoin, in and out of the ETF. And those authorized participants are usually criminals. And the criminals on the authorized participant list of silver was the ones we all know. It was originally like Bear Stearns and JP Morgan and this company called EWT LLC that I've talked about a million times. This is Vincent Viola's market rigging company, now called Virtu Financial. They are on the prospectus of this Winklevoss ETF as one of the authorized participants. So
great.
You knew it was a con going in. But the fact that the SEC turned it down reinforces my theory that the U.S. is very pro-Bitcoin, just like China shutting down the hyper-inflated derivative exchanges in Bitcoin. It's the best thing that happened to Bitcoin. Take the fraud out, take the potential for market rigging out, and had this ETF gone through and it would have jacked the price of Bitcoin, say to, I don't know, $3,000-$4,000 a coin right away, and then had the stock market crashed, which we all think it's gonna at some point here, it would have taken down the ETF as well, because when crashes happen and margin calls get going, people sell their winners to cover their margin calls, and the winner would have been Bitcoin, and then they would have sold it into the crash. It just would have been really ugly. So I'm happy it did not happen.
Yeah, and also the timing is also it's pretty interesting as well, because you look at Bitcoin Unlimited that you just mentioned, where they're trying to talk about the scalability of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Unlimited just crashed.
It had a bug. Yep.
They had a bug, and the whole system went down.
Well, it was fixed right away. And here's the interesting thing. Now, of course, the Bitcoin core developers, these are the over 100 developers with an $80 million kitty, supported mainly by the banks and the bad guys. They're inventing the fix. And if you're not on board with these brilliant guys, you don't even understand Bitcoin. Whereas there's the Bitcoin Unlimited guy, which is just a computer, a couple programmers trying to implement a very easy fix that basically gives the amount of transaction blue sky on the upside, as far as speed and as far as cost. The big thing about Bitcoin Core that guys like Tone are promoting is that it'll jack the cost to like $100 a transaction at some point, and basically take the utility of Bitcoin away at the time we need it the most. We need Bitcoin in the hands of the people when the banks crash.
You mean you mean it's better to do that than actually meeting somebody in a dark alley somewhere and bringing your smartphone along?
Well, those transactions still need to be put on the blockchain and authorized and confirmed and things like that. Basically, I'm sticking with the original Satoshi guy. Gavin Andresen was the guy who originally took the ball from Satoshi and set up the original programs. He endorses Bitcoin Unlimited, which would instantly decrease the cost of transactions. So Bitcoin would be available as a tool when the banking system crashes, if it crashes this year. The Bitcoin Core group, the SegWit group that Tone is promoting, that would not be good for individual transactions at all. Pay $100 to buy a cup of coffee, pay $100 in fees. It just does not work.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and that whole group is so highly funded by the banksters. I don't trust them at all. But I do trust Gavin Andresen that says, hey, Bitcoin Unlimited solves the problems, is true, and is true to Satoshi's original paper. His original idea was to get this in the hands of the people, not in the hands of a centralized power, which is kind of what is going on with the, I'm not going to fight this fight with the guys who know absolutely what's going on, because I am not an expert in this field at all. I just have my opinion. And my opinion is we need the quickest fix possible, the least amount of money, and the fastest confirming of all transactions. And both sides admit that would be the Bitcoin Unlimited solution.
If it's good enough for Satoshi, if it's easy, if it's scalable, it puts Bitcoin in the hands of billions of people worldwide and it solves the problem.
Ding, 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 ding.
Then, hey, man, I'm all for it. That's the route we need to take.
That's the route we need to take right now. And then all the other stuff, all the extra bells and whistles that the Bitcoin Corp guys are trying to put in place. Great, let's do that later. But right now, we get Bitcoin as a tool, because if it is not available for individual transactions on a very small scale in the very near future when the banks crash, the bankers will no doubt put in their own solution, and it'll be another 20 years before we get Bitcoin implemented as into the hands of the people. So yes, this is a big deal for the future of Bitcoin and its utility in this time of distress that we're approaching. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense, man. I think it's the only thing that's viable, and it's the only thing that does make sense, because if we can't get it into the hands of the people, if we can't get it away from the geeks, we need to get it away from we got to get it out of Nerdville. If we can get Bitcoin out of Nerdville, where the average mom and pop could operate Bitcoin as easy as they would do email.
Which it is very easy. And
it is once you have it set up.
In seconds.
But the problem is, like, where do I get Bitcoin? How do I do it? People are just like intimidated by it. If we can get out of Nerdville and get the intimidation factor out of it, hey man, then we're good. We're good. I think it'll be the great thing for all of us. It's more power to the people.
Yeah, but we're gonna need it. That's the thing. We're gonna need it as a solution to the banking collapse.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. Because that's how we beat these guys. Because if we can't, here's the deal, guys. I don't care what our currency's backed by at the end of the day. I really don't care, because the most important thing is
currency shouldn't be backed by anything, truthfully.
Right, so that we can get into all sorts of arguments. It should be backed by gold, silver, tin, copper, aluminum foil. Who the hell gives a rat's red?
It's about
who controls the currency.
Backed is different, though. Backed,
right.
Backed versus using gold, using a real gold standard is using gold coins with convertibility when you walk into a bank.
Correct, right. But the whole point is, today it shouldn't be the argument is misplaced, is what I'm trying to say. People would argue till the cows come home of the currency should be backed by something. That's not the point. The point is the argument should be who controls your currency. That's where the argument should be. And the argument should be, here's Bitcoin. Since we don't have gold and silver to be transacting with, here's a great thing that is absolutely transactionable. It's not vertically integrated. It levels the playing field in terms of access between a billionaire and a pauper. This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Let's run with it.
I think we are. I think the Bitcoin community is huge and getting bigger every day. I know that all my subscribers are clamoring over themselves to sign up with Coinbase and get Bitcoin right now.
Right.
And
how did that thing work out? Did the IRS back up off of Coinbase?
No. You got to give them all your information, and it's just like anything else. It's not the only way to make Bitcoin's transactions, really secretive, is to do it with a friend who.
Great. So I still have to go see. So I still have to see Kung Lao in the dark alleys of Chinatown. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, if you want to hide, but why hide your $12 that you have in Bitcoin?
This is also very true.
Yeah, I mean, and the laws There is no
There is no
attempt.
law.
There is no attempt by the U.S. government to stop Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, it's exactly the opposite. They were involved in the very beginning in the creation of Bitcoin. The NSA and the CIA were in on it. Of course they were. They had meetings about it. I believe that Satoshi Nakamoto is a group of developers within the Federal Reserve Bank who control these computers. And I think Alan Greenspan is part of that group. But it's clear, it should be clear to everyone that Bitcoin is here to stay, and there's going to be no government rules or regulations that are going to destroy Bitcoin. Now, they're going to tax it like anything else, obviously, just like they, tax marijuana now, and they're making money off that when they made it legal in certain states. But that gives legitimacy to Bitcoin, if you ask me. So yeah, will they be able to tax it after the banks crash and the federal government is destroyed from 35,000 people on the dole to maybe a couple thousand? Yeah, who knows? I don't think there will be taxation at that point.
Yeah, got it. That being said, my friend, I heard through the grapevine there's an exhaustion coming into the silver rigging markets. What's going on over there, man? Silver rigging
hope so.
come to exhaustion?
I hope so. Silver investors are so beat down and so exhausted and so completely beside themselves about the obvious, blatant, and admitting rigging of the silver market, and having the CFTC do absolutely nothing about it. I mean, Deutsche Bank has admitted in court that they are rigging. They gave the names of the other riggers. And what has the CFTC even said about that? Anything? No, because they had 3 investigations into silver rigging, and all 3 of them came up with the same conclusion: there is no rigging. And their biggest reason that they came to that conclusion was that the futures and options price on the COMEX matched the physical price at the LBMA. Well, the LBMA has been proven to be a fraud as well. And the Thomson Reuters and the CME Group have just resigned from dealing with that criminal silver fix. So nobody knows what's going to happen with the LBMA come January 1st is when the D-Day, as far as January 1st of 2018, the D-Day when these European regulations kick in on benchmark reporting. That's why the CME and Thomson Reuters are backing out of theoretically determining what the price of physical silver is. Mm-hmm. Insane, absolutely insane. The whole game is completely falling apart, and I hope everybody knows it by now that the silver market has been rigged for at least 50 years, probably more like 170 years. And that kind of price suppression does not release very easily. That's why Trump is, brought in Steve Mnuchin, the #1 computer market rigger for Goldman Sachs. And Trump's got to fix all these problems. He's got, a big, long list of problems, but the very end of that list is ending the market manipulation. Yeah. And because you cannot build America great again on a foundation of lies and, financial malfeasance. And that's exactly what he's doing right now with rigging the markets with the Fed and the president's working group on financial markets. But that's their job. That's their mandate, is to control market volatility. And the only way to do that is to rig the market. And they've been rigging it so long, they can't let it go. So yeah, that's kind of where we are as far as the silver price market rigging. Although Ted Butler has some really interesting, has a really interesting take on what's going on between the play between the commercials, who, the big banks, and the trend player kind of guys, who, always buy when they crosses over the 200-day moving average, and they sell when it goes below the 200-day moving average. Supposedly, those guys are not falling for it anymore, and it's these big 8 banks who are massively short, and keep going short, selling to themselves because there's no one else to take that other side of the trade. And normally they'll rig the price down so far that these the managed money funds get in there and short as silver goes, breaks below the 200-day moving average and other moving averages, and that way the banks can cover, but they're not being able to cover right now. So, as this is TED stuff from it, it's all from the data that comes out of the CME group about the COMEX silver positions. This is all public information, and he just analyzes it amazingly well and shows the obvious market rigging. So it'll be interesting over the next couple weeks and months, especially today, which is the end of the debt ceiling. We've hit the debt ceiling and we're bumped up against it, and there's nowhere to go, although they're shuffling money around at the Treasury. But also the Fed decision today, I think what is it, at 1:30 your time, or I don't know what the time the decision is. It's about right now, isn't
it? It should be right about now. I mean, the world is waiting with bated breath. I think it's 1:30 or 2 o'clock. They're going to make the announcement.
Yeah. Whether it goes up a quarter, a point, or a half a point. I mean, it's so funny because it means nothing when they rig every single market with computers and derivatives. Interest rates mean nothing.
It means jack squat. That's what it means.
It's ridiculous. But the game goes on, and it will go on until somebody pulls the plug on that computer in the basement of the Treasury. And I think Trump's going to do it, but he knows that he needs to get certain things cleaned up within our government. And he's trying his best to do that against the backlash of the deep state, the Obama-controlled, Clinton-controlled, Bush-controlled side of this equation, because there's so many embedded people. He fired, I think, 46 attorney generals and district attorneys or whatever they were, which is, I think Clinton fired 93. Yeah, Bill Clinton. So, of course, if Trump does it, it's
it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I've never seen such a thing. Yeah, you have. Just go back 20 years. You'll see it. It happens every 4 to 8 years. It happens. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, if Trump does anything, the media, the left media, that is pretty much all the media, they have control. It basically Clinton has in her group, and the Bushes and the Obamas have control of the media. Yeah. And if they control the media, then although they don't have control of the alt media, the real news, as I like to call it, shows like this get up and the viewership is going up, even though they're trying to suppress the viewership. But they're losing that battle because the truth wins out. In the end, there's just so many lies you can tell. And yeah, I kind of love it when Trump throws out, half truths and gets the media all up and exciting. And he does it on purpose. He's playing the media and for a reason. Right? You don't know what to believe. And that's kind of where he wanted everybody. You don't know what to believe. And, obviously Trump's not telling the truth about the economy. He's rigging the market and lying just like everybody else. So yeah, this Trump bounce is great, but it was done with computers and derivatives clicking on, there was some movement in getting jobs back to America, and I love that. We're going to have a lot more of that in the coming weeks and months, because China is not going to sell to us anymore, and we get most of our stuff from China. And when that spigot turns off, Trump's the guy to get businesses going again in America. But he's doing it with market rigging right now, and there should be no doubt in anybody's mind that this Trump bounce in the stock market is 100% Steve Mnuchin clicking on his computer in the basement of the U.S. Treasury.
Manipulating Mnuchin.
That was his job at Goldman. He was the head of IT. He was in charge of the people who wrote the programs to rig the markets.
The black box, the Goldman Sachs' black box. I mean, look it up on Google, folks. I mean, you could see it right then and there. I mean, they literally had a black box that was literally running ahead of everybody else, making all the trades, getting in and out of positions within milliseconds before even HFTs came to the forefront. They were doing it,
and free money, front running free money, completely illegal.
Yep, absolutely. And nobody goes to jail. Nobody goes to jail.
Well, if they went to jail,
actually,
then
they do wind up dead, but they don't go to jail though.
If they went to jail, then the politicians would have to go to jail, and that can't happen.
No, God forbid that were to happen. And then God, that means justice for all. I mean,
I hear it. Oh,
rule of law.
What do you think of Rachel Maddow's brilliant announcement that
Madcow,
we have We got Trump's taxes.
Ooh, and what did they find out? That Trump paid more in taxes than Mr. Bernie Sanders, who had 3% of 5%, because the top 1% is getting 90% of all the profits, and that's the problem.
Exactly. Trump paid a higher percentage in taxes than Bernie Sanders, almost
Or
double.
Obama.
Or Obama, or Romney, or any of them.
Any of these guys.
Who cares?
Thank you, Rachel Madcow, for saying that, actually proving the point and showing the legitimacy of Trump. Thank you.
Well, here's her problem now. It is illegal for the press to willingly print or publish federal tax returns that were obtained illegally. So Rachel Maddow, theoretically, if Trump decides, that is a felony offense, up to $5,000 fine and or 5 years in prison. I say let's teach the media a lesson and
throw Madcow in a women's prison.
She would love that, though. That's the problem.
It would be her fantasy of Orange is the New Black. Madcow would love that.
Let's throw her in the men's prison. How's that? That would teach her.
That would scare her. That would be terrifying, you know?
Oh, my God.
Oh, Madcow. That was absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean,
and then she got scooped. And then she got scooped, and everybody was releasing it before her show. You know, she was saying, "Oh, only I have the copy of this." And then everybody released it before her show went on.
And the funny thing is her intro. This is Daniel Johnston. He is the investigative reporter par excellence. He is an expert in all things financial. There's nobody like him. I mean, just blowing this guy up like he's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. He is, you know, he's the greatest thing since Edward Murrow or whatever. And all of a sudden, this guy was not giving the type of feedback that Madcow wanted. And Madcow, you could see her squirm. Did you see? Like you could notice her squirming and fumbling for words.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it. The news came out before her show came on.
I know, but I saw some clips of it just to get a good laugh out of it.
You're a closet Madcow supporter, aren't you? You watch the show every day.
Madcow. I just wanted to see her squirm. And for me to see her squirm, oh my God, it was so worth it, man. You can see that she quickly changes the subject. Now get this, Bix. She quickly changes the subject and goes off on a tangent about Russian ambassador who met with Trump, and they probably used Russian salad dressing on a salad they were eating 25 years ago. I mean, this is what's left. I mean, if I was a left-wing nut job, I'd be embarrassed. But
I can't imagine you as a left-winger.
No, me neither, man. That's just weird. Like a social justice warrior? Can you imagine that? Oh my God.
Gorilla's gone mad, baby.
Oh my God. The social justice warrior.
Well, I do think that we are getting to the point with all this WikiLeaks stuff and all the revelations. We're getting to a point that Trump has got to start playing his final cards, meaning the
last Trump card, right?
The final. Doesn't that crack you up that the name of a Trump card, and we have Donald Trump pulling like the final death knell for the bad guys? That I had a dentist when I was a kid, and his name was Dr. Sharp. And made me laugh that the dentist's name is Dr. Sharp. We got a president who's about to play the Trump card, and his name is Trump. But I think that Trump card will be the arrests of the pedophilia stuff on the big level. A lot of arrests as far as giving away state secrets, internal spies within the U.S., within Clinton's internal group. I mean, what they're doing is illegal. The CIA spying on everybody, including. Did you hear the Trump Tower was not wiretapped except for through the British intelligence, which was wiretapping him? Oh my God! And apparently Obama went directly to them to skirt the laws of the U.S.
Yes,
that's just. I mean, we need to get that stuff out. Yeah,
and these are the guys that are trying to track down Snowden, bro.
Yeah, and of course they were wired. I mean, everybody's wiretapped. We're wiretapped right now, talking on these computer devices because the CIA has access to that. As you know, as the Vault 7 stuff said, everybody is wiretapped at all times. So was Trump wrong? No. Was Obama listening? 99% chance, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we're using dirty players and mercs to do the dirty work in the Middle East and other such countries. Can we not expect anything less for them to contract out to a group like GCHQ to get it done? Doesn't surprise me one bit, man. So, what do you think is the when do you think the hammer's going to fall?
I think there's little hammers already falling, but like the big hammers where they say, "Oh, okay, we're pulling in John Podesta, we're pulling in 1/3 of Congress supposedly is in on the pedophile thing." See, that's how big it is. We're talking constitutional crisis, but I
Speaking
think
of
it
one
all
third of Congress,
happened.
did you see the video of the creepy Joe Biden touching kids?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I
And then
saw
he
it.
tried to touch a kid that Jeff Sessions was near, and Jeff Sessions smacked his hand away. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, Sessions smacked his hand away like, bam,
Oh,
don't touch that kid.
is that
I
on
was like,
YouTube?
oh, it's on YouTube, man.
How recent was it?
Oh, when it was the holiday season when they were transitioning out, and
Okay.
Biden had all these these photos taken with the new
Yeah, I
congressman and
saw
stuff.
that. I didn't see the Sessions thing.
Yeah, Sessions just Google it. Sessions smacks Joe Biden's hand. Just
Oh,
Google that, and you see Sessions just pop 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 smacking his hand like, you don't touch this kid.
these guys,
Unreal.
these
Sessions
guys are
knows,
so
man.
crazy. Oh, everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's like the NYPD has all the files from Anthony Weiner's laptop that came from Uma Abedin, who has everything on everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uma was a plant. She was a Muslim plant within the Clinton administration. She came on the same day or the same week as Monica Lewinsky in the White House as an intern. Lewinsky went to Bill, and Hillary got Uma, and then she
Yeah.
rose in power from there. And supposedly they're lovers and all that, but apparently she has all kinds of videos and emails that are so incriminating.
Well, wasn't
And
that
then
quote unquote insurance policy? It was like a file on their
that was
computer.
the file. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's something like 600,000 entries there, videos, phone conversations. I mean, it's enough to put everybody away in Congress. About 1/3 of them that were involved in this pedophilia stuff. So yeah, that's the problem Trump is facing now is when to play the Trump card, and that Trump card will take down everything. It'll take down the financial markets. It'll take down the society in general. That's the big moment that everything falls apart. But he's going to have to play that card. We can't have injustices continuing to be. Here's a great example. And I just put out a video a couple of days ago about this coin from the U.S. Mint that just released a Boys Town coin. I don't know if you're familiar with the Boys Town pedophilia ring and the
Yes.
Franklin cover up and all that. The U.S. Mint, out by direction of the Obama administration, and this was back, the law was put into place to make this coin in, I think, July of 2016, when they thought Hillary was going to basically take the presidency. And they decided to make a commemorative coin of Boys Town. And they did it. And I'm not saying that Boys Town is has done horrible things to everybody. What I'm saying is there are dozens of children that will run around in buses and on planes to secret sex parties within the White House, in Chicago, at these mansions. And it is a huge part of the cover-up. There was a movie made by the Discovery Channel that was supposed to air in 1994, and the last minute,
Yeah. Okay.
they pulled it. They pulled it because Congress went to Discovery Channel and said, "We're going to shut down all cable operations for the Discovery Channel if you air this documentary."
Yeah. The
And
Franklin cover up.
yeah, the Franklin cover-up. It's the largest pedophile story in the history of the United States, and it completely disappeared from the. It has since been posted. The video is on the internet now. But I just put up
I mean,
a.
John W. DeCamp wrote a book on it, man,
Oh
based
yeah.
on the movie, which is the Franklin cover up. If anybody want to go check it out, check it out. Get on Amazon, find it somewhere. It's a great book. It's about it's a Franklin cover up, child abuse, Satanism, and murder in Nebraska. Go get yourself a copy.
And go to my YouTube channel, because Sunday I posted a YouTube on it on what I called the Pedogate coin. I was going to call it the pedo coin, but it basically shows how, it talks about all this stuff from Boys Town, from the Franklin cover-up, and then the U.S. Mint, who I absolutely despise, making this really odd-looking coin with muddled ethnicity kids on the back of the silver coin. But check out my video. It's called Pedogate Coin. And yeah, it's just sad what was going on, and it's still going on. I mean, I know they've arrested about 1,500 of these guys, the lower level guys, the guys that would supply the kids to the elite. And supposedly they're singing like canaries, all of them. And there's so much evidence to take all these guys down. And hopefully Trump will play the Trump card at the exact perfect time to save our country. But he's got that card, and it can be played at any moment.
If I was Hillary Clinton, if I was any one of these politicians who's got this skeleton in the closet, I would exit stage left even. I would quietly just disappear. I mean,
to that Kinley Island.
Yeah, the island of
he died
Kenley.
And they cremated him and nobody saw the body.
Mm-hmm. I'll be hanging out with Kenley and Antonin Scalia on the island. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, bro, final closing comments. What else is going on? What else is are the blips on your radar?
I'm interested about what, today, a lot of people talking about today because of some big turning point type things like the debt ceiling. That debt ceiling has always been on the forefront of the road to Ruta, because the economic formula that Ruta writes in the sand in the original comic book is called On the Road to the Golden Age. It's a 1960s economic theory that says the best way to go back to a gold standard is to print money for as long and hard as you can, soaking up all the benefits of unbacked fiat money until you implode the system, and use that money to build infrastructure, build houses, build your military. And that's exactly what's been going on. But the ultimate end game is to print so much that you destroy the unbacked currency and force a return to gold. That was the formula that Ruta wrote in the sand. That's what's been playing out over these past 40 years. And I think we're right at that end game, and this debt ceiling debacle thing, I think it won't be resolved. And there's so much infighting within the Democrats and the Republicans and the Republicans and the Republicans and the Democrats and the Democrats. Nothing is going to get resolved through Congress, and I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think we're heading for a very lively year, without a doubt, man. Very lively. Very interesting what's going to transpire between now and summertime, as we enter the summer of chaos again.
Just look at the cover of the World in 2017, The Economist magazine.
Yeah.
With the tarot card reading spread. The very first card is the Tower card. The Tower card in tarot reading is the Destruction card. And then the second card is the Judgment card, with Trump sitting on top of the world with a what is that thing called? The golden something. It's so he can lay judgment on what was passed and the things that have been done. And then it goes right to the third card, which is a card called, I have it right here, I think it's the World card. And it's all about the monetary system. It has a picture of the Fed, the picture of Congress, and then a pyramid. And everybody says, well, what's the connection between the pyramid and the dollar bill? Because on the back of the dollar bill, you have the pyramid with all-seeing eye. Is that the Illuminati signal and all that? I think it has to do with the gold in the Grand Canyon. I've been saying it for years, that there are massive pyramids inside the Grand Canyon, very ancient pyramids that we're not allowed to go into and see. Nobody's allowed inside a certain area within the Grand Canyon because of these pyramids and because of this massive gold find that they announced on the front page of the New York Times on June 12th, in 1912. And then supposedly there were billions of ounces going to come out of there. And then the story was shut down, and this part of the Grand Canyon was totally shut down. And if you look at the name of these mountains, they kind of look like pyramids, ancient pyramids. They got kind of decayed over time. If you look at the names of these pyramids, they're all named after Egyptian gods. The Tower of Set and the Pyramid of Ra and things like that. Crazy stuff. But it's on the back of our $1 bill too, and it's on the cover of the Economist magazine for 2017, right after the Trump judgment card. A lot of signs pointing in the same direction that we are in for a huge collapse and a change of our global monetary system. That's my take. I have a full report on it at roadtoruta.com at the very top. It's called The World in 2017, the Road to Ruta analysis. And
that's a very good piece of work right there.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
it's fun, and I had to learn about tarot cards and the meaning and the placement of these cards and all that stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time you come up to New York, you can do a tarot card reading on me, and I'll read your palm.
Okay, it sounds good.
After we knock down some New York City pizza,
I just hope that
this way you can get an accurate reading on my palm.
I just hope that when the shakeout happens, the banks crash, half of Congress is removed, and the media is exposed for what they are. I just hope we have a calm enough time that I can come out to New York and we can hang out and do a hump day live in Times Square type of thing.
That would be epic, man. That would be awesome. I'm hoping that we would, man. I'm hoping that we would.
Well, the cover of the magazine and the tarot card reading has the star card at the end, which is a very, very positive card going forward.
Yes, it is. What's that all about?
That's our future. I mean, as long as we can make it,
as
long as we can make it past all the other cards, like the death card is in there. As long as we can make it past all that, yeah, the technology is going to move us into an unbelievable direction come the end of the year.
That's going to be awesome. That will be good.
Hopefully, yeah.
With that being said, my man, why don't you give out your website, your YouTube channel, your social media, how people could follow your work, and that valuable subscription service you offer where you will give people actual Bitcoin.
Well, first, get on the Road to Ruta, put your email in, and you get a free book. So go to roadtoruta.com, put your email address in and your name, and join the Road to Ruta. You get my first book for free and a PDF. Then if you're really into this stuff, I do have a private road subscription. Gives you thousands of articles on this stuff, a Friday road trip every week. And you get $30 in hard copy Bitcoin mailed to your front door. So even if you're not a tech savvy person, even if you know nothing about Bitcoin, you can get $30 worth of Bitcoin mailed to your front door, and you can say, oh, I bought Bitcoin when it was just starting out.
Absolutely. And with that being said, guys, this is that wraps up another hump day, man. We got to wait and see what the Fed says. We're all waiting with bated breath. Of course, nothing is going to happen. We're just going to interest rates mean jack when the market is rigged, my friend.
You're starting to sound like me.
Hanging around with you too much, bro.
Apparently, Yellen's doing a live conference right now. I got to go. I don't know what the decision was, but
yeah, let's go find out.
Oh, it's 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m. So
I figured. In about 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah. All right. I know what we're doing for the next 15 minutes.
Yep, I'm going to be munching on something while I watch this.
Bananas, baby, bananas.
There's some pork rinds lying around here. Maybe I'll crunch on those.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Thank you again. And we will be here, same silver channel with the one and only Silver Surfer, the Baron of Bitcoin, the Gandalf of Gold, the Pathfinder to the Road to Ruta, the man, the myth, the legend. He doesn't go looking for Sasquatch. Sasquatch go looking for him. Bix Weir.
All right, man. I'll talk to you next week.
Later, buddy. Enjoy.